Hello, lovely people. Welcome back to the Distinct and Jovial podcast. God, it feels like a while since I've done an introduction, but then you did the introduction for the last one, which means the last one I did an introduction for was in August, and it's the 24th of November. That's why it feels so weird today. That's why
you need to pick up your end of the couch, Dom.
Pivot! My name's Don. As Jerry has wonderfully alluded to, and as I have wonderfully also alluded to, I'm joined by my wonderful co-founder, Jerry. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much. Although my name is Julio Iglesias, just so the...
Why? Right? Why?
Why not? That's the question you should be asking. You need to flip that back on itself. Why not?
I mean, the viewers and the listeners will not see it.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Because I cut that bit off, right? I don't take the names across. When I edit for the video podcast, it says Jerry and Dom on it.
It sounded quite painful the way you said that. I don't think I like the way you said that. I cut that bit.
I cut that bit off.
Easy.
Right, and so the only people that see it are those of us that are on this call.
Well, there you go. For today, Matthew, I'm going to be Julio Iglesias.
What did he sing?
No, that's Enrique Iglesias.
Okay, there we go. Right, I knew there was an Iglesias.
Yeah, Enrique's his son. Isn't it? What did Julio sing? Oh, I'll have to Google it. I'm scared to Google it, then it'll kill my internet.
No, you're doing okay. You're doing okay. And as you may have guessed, everybody, we are joined by a guest today. We're actually joined by the person who was the first ever guest on this podcast. Although you've not seen her because it was an audio-only podcast. But welcome to the podcast, Laura. Yay! Woohoo! I won't go cheesy and clap like that.
No.
Just
Welcome back.
welcome back to the podcast.
Oh, I should have had my small hands ready.
Small hands.
Yeah. Bear with me,
You're
Connor.
gonna go get your small hands. Right.
Yeah, but shall I get my small hands for my small hands?
Yes.
You see, this just makes everybody despair, but it's got to be done.
The thing I like when you move away from the mic and it just goes like a little bit like quiet. Anyway, welcome Laura. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, welcome, Laura. Great to have you back. It's been a long, long time, hasn't it?
Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah.
3 years?
I don't know. Like, that requires thinking, and no.
Yeah, probably. Oh, by the way, here we go. Here's the clap.
Oh, okay.
And then...
There we go.
He's got small hands.
A small hand on the small hands.
Yeah, you got to have...
Okay.
So you got your small hand.
So there's a small clap and a micro clap.
Yeah, there's a... Yeah, basically. So you got your small hand, zoom out to the bigger hand, zoom out to real hand. So there you go. I'm very proud of my small hands.
For the audio listeners, Jerry has small plastic hands that you can stick onto your index fingers or any of your fingers, I suppose. And then he also has smaller hands that stick onto the index fingers of those small hands.
You could also put them on your toes, but only if they're small enough. Don't think you could put one on your big toe. You couldn't put small feet.
Why would you want hands on your toes?
I don't know. Maybe you just want to be holding a big cup of coffee with both hands, and then you can type messages and carry on working with your feet. It's just a thought. You have to think laterally, Laura.
Yeah, I can just type one-handed though, so...
Yeah,
just
but what
hold
if,
and
yeah, but what if the mug of coffee's so big you have to hold it with both hands? Then what do you do? So you have to think about these things. You need to invest in a pair of small hands. You can't just sit there getting complacent.
it's just more the idea of like punching over your feet on the laptop. Like,
Yeah, but it's good. It stretches the spine. So you do all round. It's
Where
just,
are we going?
I don't know, but it's just,
What's happening?
all round. It's just good for you. You need to be prepared.
what's happening is Jerry really wants to encourage people to put little hands on their toes so that they can type at the laptop whilst having giant mugs of coffee.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
That's exactly right.
Now I've just got an image of Jerry going, Gollum.
Hey, precious.
You were last on the podcast for the 1st of November 2021, so we're in the midst of the pandemic.
Jeez.
Wow.
It wasn't the midst, it was coming to the end at that point.
Yeah.
Was it a lockdown? Was it November 2020 that we had a lockdown?
It was
It was
November,
1920 that we had the lockdowns.
Yeah, that was the second big lockdown, wasn't it? Second or third? Can't remember.
We had 3 big lockdowns. Maybe they were all in 2020, and then we had like a... Yeah, it was like the early 2021 was where we had like a mini lockdown where it was like... or when things started to come to normal. So... Okay, yeah. So, yes, it's been a while. What am I doing? Who am I going? Your Gollum discussion, Jerry, is just completely thrown me.
Well, you see, I just try and throw you off the scent in the same way that Hoops does as well. But he goes full ham right at the very beginning.
Well, that's only because I sent the clip that came out on the other day, whereas I'm doing the introduction and Hooper just goes halfway through, and none of us can keep a straight face. Anyway, it is the 24th of November. It's a wet and wild 24th of November. Holy moly! Thank you to Storm. Is it Bert?
Yeah.
I feel like Bert is one of those names that was put on The Simpsons when Bart goes into the thing and he's trying to find his name on a license plate key ring. And he's like, Bert, who names their child Bert? Or was it Bort? I think it was Bort was the actual one they put in the
in the end, yeah.
And he can't find his name. It is episode The Life, the Universe and Everything. It's episode 42.
Nice. Of course. That is the answer.
The disdain for me mentioning Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Love it. Love it.
By the way, the
Right.
next storm
Well,
that's coming our way will be called Ernie. Just thought I'd let everyone know. Sorry.
what were the Muppets I put in the presentation the other day?
Well, there was Statler and Waldorf. Brilliant. This isn't half bad. No, you're right. It's all bad. Love Statler and Waldorf.
That's pretty much our podcast. Right. We'll hand it over to our guest, and we'll start with Laura. Do you want to tell us what you'd put in Room 101 before Jerry completely derails everything?
What am I meant to be saying?
Room 101.
Oh, Room 101. Yeah, I didn't really come up with any good ideas for this. There's probably like loads, but I've forgotten like all of them.
If worse comes to worse,
Fair
you could
enough.
always put Julio Iglesias in Room 101.
I think we need to put Julio Iglesias into Room 101
I
at the
looked up
moment.
his songs. I don't recognise a single one. I'm like, okay, whatever. So he was famous, though. He's famous.
So
What-
famous that I
what-
definitely don't know who he is, but hey.
You don't know who Julio Iglesias is? Are you serious?
No.
Really? You know Enrique
No, I
Iglesias?
don't know who he is.
Oh, come on.
I know who Enrique is because I feel like that was our like
Right.
childhood.
Well, that's his dad.
But
That's his dad.
Is it really?
does-
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean, it doesn't help, does it? Ugh.
I like the fact that Tom doesn't believe me. It's actually his dad.
But I can't even think what was the famous Enrique Iglesias song.
Hero, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Hero. Yes, that was it. His parents, yeah, Julio Iglesias.
There you go. I don't know.
But I still can't understand why you've chosen that name.
Well, why would I suddenly say pork mince? There's no rhyme or reason. There's literally no logic. It's
Laura, help me out here.
I'm not entirely sure I can, to be honest.
No, you're normally the
I
one.
think Jerry's in his own little world right now. So,
I am.
yeah.
But right now, always in my own little world. Well, if,
Well, I think from the just.
I was going to say, look, if you're struggling with Room 101, you could always put. Now, I don't know how this would work because then the world might implode. But you could put Room 101 into Room 101. Oh, the thinking.
No,
No? Okay.
no, that doesn't feel right.
No? Okay, fair enough.
Is everyone putting their pet peeves in there and like to withhold, like to not allow people to put their pet peeves somewhere? That just seems mean. Like
Yeah, I agree.
that's just the real world, and no.
That's the real world. Yes, we can't do that.
What else has been in Room 101? Like, my
now
mind is
that's a
literally
question.
blank.
Now that is a question.
Cyclists, toasters,
The Royal Mail.
Royal Mail.
I guess that one's Dom.
I
Is it?
wonder.
You sure?
What did Slarty put in?
Abbreviate. He did. He put abbreviated names.
Oh, I just
Oh
squeezed
yes.
that one.
I'll never forget
Yeah.
that. I just properly went off on one about abbreviated names.
It was very, very random. Abbreviated names. Ooh, I am very quickly.
Although I must admit, after that episode, I was tempted to stop calling him Slarty and just call him E, because his name's Ian. So I just want to, even though it's 3 letters, I still want to abbreviate it just to annoy
Yeah, but
him.
even Slarty is Slarty. Oh, I mean, we're back on Hitchhiker's Guide to the
We
Galaxy
are.
because Slarty
We
Bartfast is a character from that.
Yeah,
What is that Slarty Bartfast is his full name, isn't it?
Slarty Bartfast is the full name. so we're
So
abbreviating
even
that
calling
anyway, technically.
So calling him Slarty, you abbreviate his name there.
So surely then you should give him the full title to be respectful of his Room 101 request.
So we have to call
We
him
have
Slarty
to call him
Bartfast
Slarty
now.
Bartfast. Yeah, you're right. Oh, wow.
You may get a load of you very quickly on that, but that's fine. That's
Thanks, Laura.
that helps.
Thanks a lot.
Swanee put sprouts in.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the vegetable.
Well, as you're a vegetarian, that if you had something wrong with
there are
vegetables,
plenty of
I
other
think
people who also just generally like sprouts, or also if you don't, you just don't cook with them or don't eat them. Like, it's fine. They're just essentially mini cabbages. So
That's true. I'd like to do, so there's a Polish dish called gołąbki. Gołąbki means pigeon in Polish. I learnt not that long ago. But they're really nice. So you get cabbage, you boil up cabbage leaves to soften them, and then you put like mincemeat and rice sort of filling in the middle. You wrap-
so like cabbage rolls.
yeah, like cabbage rolls, and then you sort of fold the cabbage over, and then you boil that up, and it's so good. So I wonder if you could make like really mini versions of that with sprouts.
I mean, I feel like that's almost like the party hors d'oeuvres version
Yes.
of the cabbage roll.
Yes, where you literally got like one bit of mince in each.
I was gonna say, I
Wrap
feel
leaf.
like, but the leaves are so small. You'll be there with like toothpicks trying to like poke everything together.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Or just use like a little bit of thread. Just loop it through.
is that where you get like cocktail sticks version of this as well? You're going to stick the cocktail stick through
Yeah,
it. And
you
you can
could
eat
do
it
that.
like pineapple and cheese on a
Yeah,
cocktail
but
stick.
they would be the size. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, why not? Like you just have them all like on a. You could put 3 or 4 on a stick because they'd be like the size of peas, wouldn't they? Essentially, they'd be the size of garden peas.
They'd be tiny.
They would be tiny.
That would be very tiny.
Yeah.
You need something that's like slightly bigger than a Brussels sprout, or like a jumbo Brussels sprout, to get the leaves big enough to do your little wraps.
Yes. Absolutely.
So I feel like, again, now you've just invented a new form of Brussels sprout for Adam to be more angry about.
Fantastic. I'm glad I keep adding value.
I am going to get so much abuse via text when he listens to this episode. Although it'll be about an hour after he's listened to this episode because he'll be in the car and he won't be able to
Yeah,
text at
yeah.
that.
Gonna say, it'll all be my fault because I just provoke these conversations. It's fine.
What? Why? I did something wrong in a previous life to deserve friends like you lot that just derail the conversation in very random places.
It's going to be like this, literally from start to finish. So, room 101.
It was like this before we started.
Yeah, that's true. So we're still stuck on room 101. It's going to be a long episode.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I should have done a bit more free work, but hey.
we were discussing before this about how, I mean, we could go into it where Jerry and Laura are lastminute.com and Dom is prep and prepare and be on time and bits and pieces. And today I wasn't because I cut my thumb. Stupid freaking.
How did you do that?
So I think about it every time as well, right? Every time I open a can of tuna, I think, right, just be careful you don't cut yourself or anything like that. And I had a can of tuna with my pasta yesterday, and this morning I just picked it up, and I literally put my thumb on the edge, went, oh, that would be stupid, and then dragged my thumb down it. And
Oh.
it's a very tiny cut, but it bleeds constantly.
Yeah.
Absolutely constantly. And it's the worst thing now, and I don't know, and maybe this is something that you both might know. Is it like having a wet plaster is along similar lines of having like wet socks?
Yes.
Yeah,
But also, can
definitely.
I quickly just check? When you say bleed constantly, I can't even say that word, but that's an exaggeration. That's not like an actual.
No. For a small cut, there was a bloody amount of blood where you're just like, will you stop? I'm trying to do stuff, and it's on my dominant hand, so you're like, I can't quite do things properly. So when I grip the water bottle, I'm kind of gripping it a little bit like that because it feels funny, and the plaster's wet, so it's giving me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies. It's like wet socks. So
Well, usually every time I cut myself, I cover it in a wet sock. It's just a lot easier and just bypass all of that. You just go straight to the pain.
you would.
Pain in inverted commas. Pain. Which isn't probably the actual pain of the injury itself. More psychological pain of having to don a wet sock. Anyway, Room 101.
I was going to say, I feel like this has been like a good amount of time that we've like procrastinated.
Exactly, we're buying you time.
I do
Laura.
finally have an answer, by the way, because I've managed to think of something in the background.
Woohoo!
Really simple. Having to create accounts for everything when we really don't need accounts for it. Like, for when you need an account, sure. But when you're literally just doing some really basic thing and they want to make you have an account for something that you're only ever going to use once, nah.
Nice. I like it.
Shopping is quite a good example of that. Let me guess checkout.
Just, yeah.
Well-
Keep the guest function working. That's fine.
Yeah, that should always be mandatory actually. Continue as guest. Because you should never
Yeah.
put somebody in a position where they have to start submitting, because they ask all sorts of weird info, don't they?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. The two most recent examples was my last month's 101, which was UPS,
Yeah.
United.
Yeah, we're slowly building it up.
United States Postal Service. Yeah, it's UPS, United States Postal Service. That if you want to submit a claim, you have to sign up for an account, and you have to give them your email address, your address, your address, you know, your house address,
Postal address.
postal address. That's the one. Thank you. And you have to give them your mobile number. And I'm like, no, no. So submit complaint, submit GDPR request for deletion, get in the bin.
Nice. And might as well chuck in a subject access request whilst you're at it. Just to annoy them.
Of course. Just to annoy them.
Yeah.
And then the other one was, and this one really annoyed me. I bought something offline, not from very large retailer that's owned by the person that rhymes with Beth Bezos.
What, Elon Musk?
No, absolutely not. I would not have a Tesla.
You bought a Tesla?
And you would not, and just, no. Like, let's not start a Dom rant. It's too early in the morning. It's 20 to 11 on a Sunday that's been particularly wet and wild.
I mean, I feel like we could happily start a Dom rant and just watch.
Let's watch you slowly break down. Well, I think that's going to happen in the not too distant future on this podcast, because he's in the limelight as well, isn't he? Due to recent
what?
events.
Musk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a
Yeah,
minute.
exactly.
That might be a good segue
just-
in a minute. But the other...
Save your rant energy for that.
Okay. But they bought, and then the tracking was done by this thing called shop.com. So if I want to track my parcel that's from this company that I've already had to sign up for, I have to sign up for another account to be able to track my parcel. And I'm like, no, and you can't. There's no option just to give the tracking number and be like, where be my parcel? So I had no idea when it was going to arrive until the postman knocked on the door and said, here's your parcel. And I went, yay.
Yeah, but that's a win. in itself. I don't know what you're moaning about. At least, one, they found the right place. Two, they knocked on your door.
I have a Royal Mail update.
Oh, no.
A small one, but it's a positive one.
Oh, okay.
So I've actually, ironically, because I've got to move out of here in 6 months, but it's only taken me 10 years. I've started talking to the postman. I've actually speaking to him as in human to human, and purely because it must have been. I was in a woolly hat and he was in shorts, and I was like, "There's absolutely no way." And he said, "If I had my way, I'd be in shorts all year round, regardless of the weather." And when he rocked up to deliver my parcel, it was blowing a gale, so he wasn't in shorts. And I said, "Oh, you're not in shorts this time." And then we had a discussion about being let in, and he's also agreed to not give me the gump through the door that you get, which is all the advertising, which is normally conservatories, which really winds me up because I live in a first floor flat.
Yeah, but you do realise that that postman's actually leaving. He's quitting his job in a week.
Well, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the risk.
No, my luck. So yeah, so I'm slightly more hopeful that my parcels and my letters might be a little bit more reliable.
We shall see.
Just got to be friendly to people.
In woolly shorts.
Woolly shorts. No, I was in a woolly hat. Oh dear. Right. Anywho,
The shorts could have been woolly. You don't know. Did you feel them?
no.
Did you feel his shorts?
Now we go. Where are we going with this one, Terry?
Did you feel his shorts? How do you know they weren't
No,
wool?
I did not.
Well, you don't know they weren't wool, right? Or even a wool blend. By the way, look,
I did something gone.
Laura's
I've just gone.
I'm just
so
like, la 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 la. No.
Laura's got 14 other tabs to choose from. It's fine. I, on the other hand, have enough capacity for one conversation. So, Jerry, you're just like, what are we doing?
There you go.
Shall we go back to your mate Elon Musk then?
My mate?
I
Whose
assume you're
mate are you
talking to
talking
Jerry on
about?
that one.
My mate?
Yeah.
My mate Elon. No, wait 1 second. No, I'm confused now. What?
We
Right,
can
have
switch
we
into the
finished?
topical event.
Are we doing
Yeah, I think we finished
We're
Rogue
doing the
101,
switcheroo
unless Laura
now.
wants to try and convince her. So,
I mean, do I
I'm
need
putting it
to?
in.
I thought everyone just said yes. So
Yes.
Well, have we though?
I know.
Have we? Let's think about this some more.
I mean, I guess you're more than welcome to create loads of accounts if you wish.
I just find that ironic, considering.
But what if somebody was okay? So playing devil's advocate. What if somebody was to say, "Look, we're doing this for your own safety, the safety of your information."
Can you
and
give
your-"
me an example
No,
of when that situation would ever occur?
no.
There we go.
I'm not going to mention the company that we work for, but ironically, one of the companies that is owned by the company that we work for does not have the option to do guest checkout. So that's what I find ironic.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's left like as you say, especially when it's like purchasing an item. Like, yeah, guest checkout seems obvious.
Yeah, it
Like
should be.
having accounts more for obviously like energy bills and other kind of, I guess, stuff
Yeah.
makes sense. But yeah, shopping. So.
Okay, so just so that we're clear before we move on to topical events, so what you're putting into Room 101 is being forced to create an account for something that you're buying.
I mean, it doesn't always have to be something you buy, but like, you know, something that you only do once, so that it's really just like a one-off thing, but you still have to create an account for it.
Yeah, but you'd only have to create an account once. No, I'm joking. Yeah, that's fine. That's going in. No, I'm joking. It's going in. It's going in. It's 100% going in.
Doing it.
Definitely. Because I hate the pain of creating an account, even when you have to. I hate doing it. And then you have to choose a password. And you're like, oh, great.
I was going to say, Jerry, are you one of those people that just chooses random passwords
Yeah, they are pretty random. Very random.
and then writes them down on pen and paper?
Maybe. Maybe. Possibly.
I'm telling Claire when we get.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not be too rash. Let's not be too rash.
Claire's part of security in the company we work for.
It's all right, Claire. Everything's going to be shredded after this.
He won't be able to get into anything
I was
because
going
he
to say,
won't
you'll go
remember
for
any of the
remembering
passwords.
things. It's like, yeah, it's the classic. You put it somewhere so safe that you forgot where it was.
Exactly. Well, I still think this is why I still think the best password is incorrect with a capital I.
Your password is
Yeah,
incorrect.
exactly. And then you can just go incorrect 1, incorrect 2, incorrect 3. Just build that up. Ad infinitum.
I have thought of a slight advance on it as well. It's one of those ones as well where it goes, please sign up. So you put your email address in, right, and then you hit sign up, and it goes, this email address is already in use.
Well, that's
So you then
also
go-
the issue when you have to create accounts for things, because if you do it so often, you forget which ones you have accounts for. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, but I'm only going to use this once. It doesn't matter. And then you're like, damn it, I can't. And then you end up having to create new emails just so that you
Oh,
can do that
no.
one thing again. And then you have another account for another account for another account. And it's just a
Or-
replicating cycle of chaos.
Or what happens is you go to sign up, or you go to log in, you put in the password you think, and it goes, password is incorrect. So you think, all right, forget password, send you a link, you go in.
Can't use that one, it's already-
Can't use
Yeah.
previous password that you've already used. Ah!
Yeah.
Oh, this is it's actually making me break out into anxiety sweat. No, that's well and truly going into room 101.
Slow start, but we definitely got something
We got
into
that.
room
We
101.
did.
Absolutely.
Wait, you've got to think about these things and make it something good. That's why I had to distract you for 20 minutes. It's fine.
I like it. I think that's the
I
most
think
challenging.
Jerry did.
Well, that's the most challenging one that we've had, I think, which is good. Because a lot of the other ones, you just go, oh, yeah, okay. But we had to think about it, and I thought, well, maybe you could challenge that, because the whole security
It's got layers
implications.
on it.
It's got layers. But you've definitely convinced us. Well, you convinced me,
Why
anyway.
not?
I'm assuming that you're convinced.
You've assuming Laura's convinced herself.
well, and that as well. Yeah.
Right, okay, so I was,
Well, Laura, if you change your mind now, it's the door's shut
I mean,
on room
it's not-
101. Okay, we can't reopen the door to room 101, so it's in there. So if you want it back, you can't. I'm afraid. I'm sorry. That's it.
I mean, again, I feel like in my head that's still fine because the point is it's unnecessary logins. And having that option to stay as guest. Therefore, if you want to have a login, you can. But the point is you're not being forced because choice is always better.
Now, you know what would be ironic is if we made you create an account so that you could actually put that into the room 101.
what's ironic is that was the exact phone call that I had with Laura this morning before starting. It was her going, it's asking me to create an account. I was like, Jerry never hasn't got an account. He doesn't need to.
No.
And it's like, oh, you need to click this button and this button.
I clicked the wrong button, so that was my fault. But yeah.
It was an ID10T.
Yes.
ID10T forms, Jerry.
Okay. I'll take your word.
Are you with us?
No?
I'm with you.
Write down.
Oh, Jerry.
No, it's too early.
You've got a computer in front of you.
Now the question is he writing it with his hands or with his fingers?
Feet.
Hands, like the toe
Are we on
hands.
small hands
Bear
or are
with-
we on toes?
Bear with me. Yes, that's like the 710 cap.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
in the car.
Yes.
Yes.
Laura won't get that. She doesn't drive.
Didn't say
So
I don't get that one.
Okay. Oil cap, basically.
the oil cap.
Also known as
710
Oh, yeah.
cap.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
turned upside down. The other one is picnic. It's often a picnic request. Problem
let me
in
write that
chair,
down.
not in computer. No, you don't need to. That's an
Oh.
acronym. It's not a
Don't.
problem in chair, not in computer.
Got it. I like that.
So when genuinely, we didn't have ID10 forms, but we did have a picnic option, which was user was being a bit of a muppet, things like that.
What were you on, when you were on support?
Yeah. Number of times you'd walk in and it'd be they'd be like, it's not working. I'd be like, it's not plugged in. It's now working. Problem in chair, not in computer. And it's basically we didn't need to replace any hardware. We didn't need to replace any we didn't need to do any software
You just
updates.
needed to
It
provide
was
support and training.
Yes. Even if that's emotional.
Emotional support. What, did you have picnic as a drop down then?
Yes, it's an
Actual
sometimes an
drop
option.
down. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is brilliant.
It's to close a ticket.
That is brilliant. That's genius. I love it.
You do what you have to do. Right, we've completely derailed, but it doesn't matter. We'll go on to the first topical event.
So I've got
which-
one more question on Room 101. No, I'm just joking.
Oh,
Okay.
go on then.
No, I was just kidding.
Fucking hell, Jerry. Absolutely.
I told you.
I mean, no, I won't.
Yeah, no. No, go on.
I was going to say, just at the start when you said you could put Julio Iglesias in,
Yes.
I bet Dom's regretting that idea. Or not.
Well, yeah, we're going to have to reopen that door. We have to create an account for him before we can put him in. So maybe we'll save that for next time.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Well, I don't know if this topic is any better, because I just thought, should we discuss what topical events have actually happened in the world this
I don't
day
know what's
and give
happened.
our
I mean,
opinions on
You're
them?
going to have to, given the amount of prelude you've got up to it. So.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I was going to... I'm sorry, folks. I was going to talk about the US election, which is why Elon Musk came up. And purely because I was like, oh, this is a topical event. I wonder if we could talk about it because it would be interesting. but both Jerry and Laura were like, I'm not so sure. We don't talk about politics as British people, do we?
Not in family events.
Yes. Or,
No,
and certainly
not
not
in
at the
family
dinner
events.
table.
So, yes. I mean...
Go on, Dom. Tee
Very
this
derailed.
up. Tee this up.
Dom, you're more than welcome to talk about it.
Yeah, you go for it. We'll chip
Well,
in.
I mean, I actually brought in a load of questions, which was just the general thoughts on why Trump managed to get in, and then I was like, what are our worst predictions for the next 4 years?
Yeah, I'll be
that
honest,
could-
that's not a question I like answering anyway. Like on
Fair enough.
any topic, because that's just going down literally the darkest rabbit hole you can possibly think of.
Yeah, I forget what your brain is like.
And that's just depressing and sad. Like,
All right, what's
Yeah.
the best case scenario? I did put best case scenario in there as well.
That's true. Well, okay, can I just answer your first question then? I'd like to answer the first question. Why did
Yes.
Trump get in?
Yeah.
Because he just basically told the American public what they wanted to hear. So,
Which apparently was 30 minutes of this.
yeah,
At one point.
so the thing
are
is,
you guys doing dad dancing?
Yes.
AKA
There was
Trump
there
dancing.
was definitely a time that he, what's the phrase? He just stood for 30 minutes with a mic in his hand and slowly danced, and still won the election somehow.
Yeah, there you go. The thing is, this is where it all breaks down, because this is what politics has become. You just say what you think or know that people want to hear, rather than actually just telling them what they need to know. And it's as simple as that. So people don't want to hear anything that could be the hard reality of what they need to face into, but they know that if they do that and get through that difficult time, and they'll come out in a better place. Nobody wants to hear that. Everyone's got to a point where they're just like, I don't want to hear it. Or Trump's telling me stuff which is really nice. He's promising a future. Whether he can deliver that or not is another matter. He probably can't. Like in the way that most politicians can't, because they overpromise.
I was gonna say, I think any like world leader, like
Yeah.
you can try your best, but the whole point is you're on the world stage. There's so
Yeah.
many things that could happen at any point.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the
exactly.
best laid plans. But
Exactly. So that's why he's in. And the Republicans, fair play to them. At the point where he was in his worst place in terms of the court cases that he had for the hush money, and he was he was found guilty on 36 different charges, or 36 related.
I mean,
charges.
I think that part is a little bit concerning based on principle.
Well, of course it is. Yeah, I mean that. So there's another point as well, which is quite concerning on that. I'll come back to that in a second. But yeah, the fact that even in his darkest hour, the Republican Party didn't step away from him. They still backed him. And you know what? Like it or not, fair play to them. They still ended up backing the right horse, and he got in. And you think, wow, against a candidate as strong as Kamala Harris as well. Well, she's amazing. And you kind of think, wow, if we were to get, Kamala Harris into that position, I think she'd do some amazing things. And she'd be, setting... It would just be a complete game changer in the way that Obama was a game changer being voted into presidency. It would have been the same for Kamala Harris because she would have been the first female US president. But no, the country just decided, we'll just go for Trump again. You kind of go, okay, which speaks more about, I don't know if I should say this, but it just speaks volumes.
The education.
It just speaks volumes. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, you're right. The point of principle is also quite worrying. So, if you are in the States, if you're a convicted criminal and you're serving time, you can't vote, but you can run for presidency according to the Constitution. So you could be convicted of mass murder, get locked up, and you'll be on death row, but you can still legally run for presidency. You can't vote, but you can do that. So that's the American Constitution. That tells you the state of that country at the moment.
I think it's Norway that actually classes America as a third world country.
Oh, really? I want to know what the criteria is.
Or a dangerous country. It's like in their...
As I say, I think there are quite a few countries that have put America in the dangerous category, depending particularly, obviously, on your personal background and circumstances and what parts of America you go to as well.
True.
So...
Yes, true.
Which is sad, but hey.
Well, what I find ironic about it is, like, you get all this government advice from our governments to sort of say, don't travel here, be careful here. And to be honest, try not to read too much into it, because I've looked at a few places that I've been, and even some of the places that I've been, I'm like, okay, really, fine, okay. I suppose it's just, I think unfortunately what it requires is a little bit of common sense. But I think it just mostly speaks for the education of people, doesn't it? And don't get me wrong, although Kamala Harris was a great candidate, I think it's more the actual, like, her actual policies and campaigns were kind of more stay as we are. It was very much the Brexit vote again. Stay as we are or risk change. And the American way of life has definitely diminished over the last 4 or 5 years. Not really due to the presidential... the presidential kind of person
their economy and inflation is terrifying, to be honest.
It's just kind of generally how things are, right? And most of that, unless you're going to get someone that's really going to substantially say, we're going to do this to change this, but to do that, you've got to, like, tax companies to hell, which does have some other knock-on effects, as we're kind of experiencing in the UK. So people are going to go, why would I vote for what currently is pretty rubbish? Why don't I just vote for the thing that's a bit different? So that's kind of the way it is. It's kind of that people's education on how things are going and how things are actually being put together.
So basically, she wasn't radical enough in her thinking or her policies.
Wasn't radical enough? I mean, like, when you step back, do you know a single one of the policies that she actually would have implemented?
Okay, I'm very much staying out of this vote because I've not been massively keeping up with the details. No. And also, as well, it's always one of those things. I think it's quite harsh in many ways for us to judge.
Oh yeah,
because we don't live in that country. We don't have to see the day-to-day routine of it. Yeah, we can very much say whatever we want, but experience no consequences. So. Yeah.
Well, I think my biggest worry is we will experience.
This just doesn't even feel fair.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But I think my biggest worry is we will feel consequences. That's my biggest worry from this.
Almost inevitably, but yeah.
I think everyone knows. Right, let's move on to happier topics then. I've thoroughly depressed you. I've done exactly what Laura said that was going to happen. It's going to depress you.
You should put a disclaimer at the beginning saying all our views represent Laura's views.
No. No.
No, I'm
I am not
joking.
taking responsibility for any of that, and especially not
Yeah.
for the hands on the toes.
That's the bit that's most offended you today.
I can't get that image out of my head. I wish I could. Like,
Yeah.
just little toe.
Sorry about that. I apologise.
Hang on, I'm going to get something up. LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Actually, we
That is
managed.
why we don't like to talk about politics.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't
It's either
even.
controversial, depressing,
It is. It really
or
is.
just... Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen. So this will come up on the visual podcast. I'm going to share. Hang on, I'm going to have to be clever here. I can just share a Chrome tab. Right. I don't need audio. Right. Can you see that?
That's tiny.
Yes, I can.
Oh no, I don't like it.
How
No.
do you know it's AI generated? Yeah.
Can you see? Right? Can you? It's like most people's eyes are drawn to the little squiggles. The little squiggles now look at her hands.
Nope.
Yeah. That's wrong.
No, I saw that straight away.
That's all kinds of wrong.
And that came up. Interestingly, that was in the Reddit LinkedIn lunatics, which is generally just posts of people that are either AI, quite clearly AI generated, or it's like, the AI or this person is clearly someone like an Elon Musk like follower and has just spouted something so heinously horrible. You're like, what the fringe? What the fringe?
It does remind me of that. Have you seen the video of the these guys have put together this clip and they said, can you imagine if everybody spoke in the same way that they make announcements on LinkedIn? So that all of the public go, I'm delighted to announce that I'm here with my friends having a pint. It goes, so happy for you. And it just goes,
There are a few people in the office that speak like that.
I
by the way.
know, I know. It's just so depressing. But it's very funny. Got to see if I can find that. Send it to you. It's hilarious.
Crushing cans.
So
depressing.
very good.
Right, anyway, on to happier topics. And I'm very curious about this one. So, what you will think of. This one's more to you, Jerry,
What have I done now? What's
than
happened?
to Laura. So, share with
What have I done
audio.
wrong?
Oh, you've done many things
Okay.
wrong. Can you see it? I was hoping I
I
could.
can see that.
If I refresh, if this is gonna break. Right.
Introduce you to a concept called the Wednesday Waffle, which is a video me and 3 friends all send off to each other every Wednesday, a 1 to 2 minute video, just updating the others on what's been happening in your life in the week gone by and what's coming up. So the reason I'm saying this now is my partner stumbled across one of these videos about a month ago, or actually I think I showed her because my friend had sent it through his Wednesday Waffle, but his little baby was in it, and my partner loves kids, and this was a cute little kid, so I showed her, which she loved. But she was really blown away by the fact that we'd been sending these Wednesday Waffles to each other every Wednesday for a couple of years, and she just thought it was such a great thing for friends to do to stay connected, and it made me kind of think about it. And I've been taking it for granted, but it is such a good thing, and I look forward to their video every Wednesday. So maybe this is something other people can introduce to their life. Why not record a little Wednesday Waffle for your buddies and fire it off to them and see what comes back? Because I think there's room for it, and it just keeps you connected, more so than just flicking text back and forth. It's a little deeper than that, and yeah, I reckon it's all round good, so give it a go.
So, we've started this in our group. Actually, you can blame Samwise. The wonderful Samwise. Because Samwise sent me that video, and I was like, "This is a really good idea." And then it took me. No, by the way, Laura, it took me 5 weeks to build up the courage to actually just send one. Because despite the fact that I love you all as my friends, it's like, are they going to think that I'm a massive nerd? And some people do think I'm a massive nerd, but that's fine.
Were you doubting that?
All right, don't give me that look.
We won't open that door right now. That's fine.
I think that the thing I have failed is definitely doing 1 to 2 minutes.
Yes. I mean, I think we knew that way from the start. Like, you don't do like quick 1 to 2 like 1 minute things. No, you're gonna do the waffle more than the Wednesday. So that's fine.
I was going to make a very crude joke then, but I haven't, so it's okay.
So how long do... Okay, no, this is going... Yeah. How long are they then?
How long am I video?
No, your one.
I feel like
well,
you
I had to
average
split-
about 5 to 6 minutes.
No, I've not. No, I've not gone over. I've not gone over 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 5 minutes is
No,
all right,
that's
though.
wrong.
5 minutes.
I was gonna say, I feel like
The
you've
la-
definitely done two videos that you like were 3 minutes that had to be put
Yeah.
together.
So actually, no. My
So-
last week's one was 6 minutes, but it was a needed 6 minutes because I needed to explain about the car.
Yeah.
So that was important. But then the one before that was only 1.5 minutes. So what I liked is the update I got from Samwise this week was around 4 minutes. And she got 3 minutes in and she goes, "I'm not going to waffle this time." And I was like, that's ironic. Anyway, it's over to you, Joe. What do you think of this concept? And then I'll come to you, Laura, and what do you not like about having done it now for a couple of weeks?
So, I actually really like it. I think it's a fantastic idea. The fact that you're recording yourself on video, so you've got that... Because I'm kind of done with just messaging. I know we have to do it and everybody does it and that's fine. But for me, it just doesn't hit the mark anymore. Voice
You make it
notes...
sound like a chore.
Well, it can be. It can be. Which is why I prefer... Because it's the way that I operate at work as well. I'd rather speak to somebody. So when somebody's constantly messaging me, I try and break that cycle of message tennis. It's like... And I break it very, very quickly and say, look, have you got 5 minutes for a quick call? Like, we could talk through this. We could save ourselves a lot of time. And sometimes if I'm wanting to update somebody and I'm wanting to update on the group chat or update a friend, I'll leave a voice note if it's something that's quite complex and there's quite a lot for me to say. So this is like a voice note, but to a whole new level, because you're then adding in the video, which I think is also a great idea, because I think it's nice for people to be able to see your facial expressions and body language as you're giving the update. So I think it's a fantastic idea. I mean, I've already got group chats, and I'm really quite bad at posting in the group. Well, I'm pretty bad at posting in group chats. I'm not bad actually at keeping in. I'm not too bad at keeping in touch with people. It depends. There are periods where I get quite withdrawn, and yeah, it's difficult.
You need to kick up the arse.
I do need to kick up the arse. So if you had like a regular Wednesday, you think, oh shit, it's coming up to Wednesday. I need to. Of course, it's Wednesday waffle. It just makes you stop and think about, okay, well, what has happened in the last week? So I like that element of it. I also like the element of it, which is that it's a routine which you then get into, which forces you into, in a nice way, to give the updates and just basically reach out to everybody to say, hey, I'm here, I'm alive, and everything's good, or not good, or whatever. So I love it. I do. I love it.
So do I need to send a video that I create for the Wednesday waffle now to you and chat Stevie T?
I think it would be rude not to.
Right? I'll add that to the other chat then.
I mean, I guess the other plus side is you can create one Wednesday waffle and send it out to whichever group chats you need.
I do.
Yeah,
I create
Yeah.
one chat and I send it to... So I send it to... I've got the Wednesday waffle actual chat room that I've created, which very selfishly is just... Like, it's everybody that's friends with me, whether they're friends with each other, it's another matter, but I think generally that you all are. But I suppose it might be quite nice for you, Laura, because you probably don't... Well, you don't very rarely speak to someone like Katie, for example. Just to pull two names out of the chat room, and bits and pieces like that. So yeah, I create one video, and then it gets sent to the Wednesday Waffle. It gets sent to the Crocs gang. It gets sent to Samwise, and it gets I've got the Taekwondo Waffle, and then it goes to Kasha. So there's about 5 at the moment.
Wow. Okay.
So I do create one video.
Okay.
Which leads to confusion when I mention somebody in one of the groups and they'll give their update later, and they're like, but we don't get that update. And I'm like, I can't really pull everybody into the one chat room because some of you don't know each other.
We should do one huge chat. There'll be 100 people in there. We can all be updating one another.
I don't know.
So that would get very messy and very confusing, and like you'd then start to have almost kind of like you need a map of like who's talking about what, and it kind of, I think that would make it feel more like a TV show.
Yeah, or like equivalent to watching a film every Wednesday. Like you have an hour and a half of just sitting there watching different videos.
Would that make it kind of like a soap?
Yeah.
I'm more of a comedy than a soap person, I think, based on the way my life goes. Or a tragedy.
Comedy tragedy.
Again, don't open that door. I don't like this one.
No.
No, I think it's a great concept. So you're not doing this yet, Laura?
Oh no,
Well,
I am
Laura
doing
is.
it.
Yeah.
I'm in the
You're
Wednesday
in the
Waffle.
You are in the Wednesday Waffle.
I'm in that group chat.
Right, got it. Got it.
The consistency for Wednesday's been a bit slack, so it's probably more like the weekly Waffle.
I was about to say, I laughed when you said about the kind of the having it on a like a routine. And I'm like, that works for Dom. Not for me.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
No, I was going to get your opinion on what you thought of.
So I think I'm an awkward one because I am also terrible at like replying to messages. And
Absolutely no comment at all.
yeah. Preferred method of communication is mostly Instagram memes, because I'm not cool enough or young enough for TikTok. But like,
But
yeah.
you're not like Swanee, who's a complete boomer and on Facebook.
yeah, I'm not quite that level.
Jeez.
But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, but I'm much like I can't really stand texting as much, or like even I can't stand voice notes. I hate them. Like
Ooh.
I hate the sound of my own voice. So why do I want a recording of that as like
okay.
evidence? Like it's grim. Like I'd much rather do like meetups in person or Zoom calls and stuff. So yeah, I think for me the weird part is having to record yourself, which again I just don't like. But it'll get there maybe. I'm more of like I'll come into the chats every now and again. I don't think I'm organised enough to be like Wednesday on the dot every time. Which Dom is, and like sometimes it's like 7 a.m. boom. So yeah.
It's only been 3 weeks.
I mean, you're definitely going to be the most organised of us all. We all know that. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, like for me, it's. I'm much more comfortable, I suppose, in recording myself for several reasons. One, because I spend my life on video calls for work anyway. We have this podcast, so I've gotten used to seeing me and interacting. And then I also have another channel and another podcast, which I'm starting up. So it's like, you get used to kind of creating content, so to speak. You become more comfortable. Absolutely, I'm not comfortable in doing it in creating content in public, right? That's something I absolutely couldn't do, but I'm in my own flat, right? So whatever. And the reason why I was curious to get your opinion, Laura, is because I know that sometimes you are I'm going to be totally honest. Sometimes you are god awful at replying. You and Jerry are sometimes on a level par. It's like, do you two even exist anymore, right? And normally what I get is I just randomly then will get a message from Laura that just go, shall we catch up? Because I can't be dealing with texting with everything.
But
Easier.
I'm like that with Carrie. Carrie will be like on a daily basis, Carrie, I know you're going to be all right with this because we've had this conversation. But she'll be like, Hey, how's it going? Just a quick update from me. This is what's going on with regards to the house. This is this. This is that. You get another update. You go, hey, how's it going? Oh, by the way, happy Thursday. Oh yeah, happy Friday. Almost a weekend. You're like,
Yeah.
nothing.
It's all
And then
one-sided.
it's like-
I absolutely 100%.
and then I'll be like, Kerry, are you alright to chat tomorrow morning or now? It's like, okay. And then I'll just have like a 1 hour conversation with her. Because it's just, and then we just catch up on all sorts of things then. But
yeah.
It's just easier to talk in person. It's
I
always
agree.
easier.
I prefer it as well. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, if some people didn't live 350 miles away, it would be a little bit easier to catch up in
I
person.
live in the good places.
Well, hey, is Newcastle
To be fair,
further north than York?
Yes,
By how?
a lot
A
further.
lot further.
I know it's about an hour rail train.
Oh my good lord. Okay. Right. Yeah, because my friend Kerry lives in York, and that's 270 miles, and that's an interesting journey by car.
Newcastle is 90 miles north of York.
Wow, flipping heck. Okay.
Damn you, friends that live too far north. I mean, to be fair, me and you, Jerry, are not exactly close. You still live like...
Well, on the grand scheme, yeah, but even for example, Chat Stevie T and I, you know, in terms of mileage, we're literally within, you know, you could throw a tennis ball and it'll hit the other person's house, pretty much. But
Yeah, a little bit
but
better
that's
than
still
that,
well,
yeah.
yeah, but it's still like an hour's drive because the traffic to get to Bournemouth, for example, is always horrendous.
Yeah, but that's because Bournemouth is the only place that's worse than traffic is London.
It's not far off, actually. God,
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
you
that.
are.
90
You've got
miles.
quite a distance.
90 miles north
Yeah,
of York.
90 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, so it'd be 350 miles for you. Weirdly, because the last thing I looked at was walking, it's saying it would take 5
Like
days.
4 days, yeah.
121 hours, because that's accurate.
It's probably still less than driving, I guess.
It depends. I have rocked up early when I've gone to visit Laura because I've left at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and it says it's going to take 6 hours, and I'm like, nah, but it would be closer to 7, 8 by the time I've stopped for like bathroom breaks and stuff like that, and I've managed to do it in 6 hours with bathroom breaks because the traffic's been so smooth.
Wow.
I don't know how I managed that, but yeah, I rocked up early. Whoops. I'm the only person that would do that. The only friend that would do that. I'm terrible.
I mean, I think that says more about your level of preparedness and, you know, yeah.
Yeah, just very different mindsets. But back to the Wednesday waffle. I think the only thing I struggle with it is, so I have one person that only sends voice notes. Cannot stand that because I need to reply to them. So I'm like, oh God, get 3 minutes into voice note. What did he say at the beginning? And then I've got to listen to the voice note again. And then it's like, what did he say at the beginning? What did he say in the middle? What was the topic at the end? So, you know, when you get like a 6-minute voice note, you're like, oh no, what have I got to do? Because I'm not going to remember it. The thing I like about the Wednesday waffle is we don't always, and I collective we in the chat rooms don't always reply to everything doesn't feel necessary to reply to everything. It's just like, here's an update, reply to any of it that kind of, you know, stands out. So I tend to find I only watch the video once, and then anything that stands out, that's what I'll reply to. Or the chat room goes silent for a week, and then there's another bunch of videos in there. And I find that my video is just an update, and everyone else's video has gone, oh, Dom, you said this, by the way, in their videos, which kind of works and doesn't work. So that's more because I record mine normally when I get up in the morning, because that's the best time to do it on a Wednesday for me.
Well, my life is dull, so my Wednesday waffles are basically going to be, yeah, same shit, different day. There you go. That took all of 3 seconds to say. Hit send.
Yeah, I mean, like the first Wednesday waffle that we did was reasonably long from everybody, The second one, mine was like not even a minute 20, I think, because nothing had happened.
Yeah, I mean,
And then
so what did you update on?
then I
in
had
that
an
minute?
update.
Well, okay, in that minute and 20 then. So as you're about to record your Wednesday, so you need hints and tips here. So you had nothing happened in that. Well, you had nothing happen in that week, and then you're like, oh, I've got to do the Wednesday waffle. So what did you?
Well, I make notes.
That also
I
doesn't
have to make
surprise
notes.
me.
Dom's level of like studiousness different.
Yeah, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different world.
I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a
It's
Dom
just a thing. Yeah, it's a dumb thing.
And I don't know if
It
you're making
doesn't
fun
need
of
to
me
be
or
good or
not now.
bad. It's how you roll. It's
no,
fine.
not making fun at all. I mean, I'm too much the other way. I'm just too much. It's with me. It's just like, oh, now this thing's on fire. I need to deal with it, which is also not a great position to be in. So I'm kind of organised, but I'm kind of not. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So I mean, like literally, the Wednesday waffle notes literally just say it was a completely clear weekend where I didn't do anything but exercise and ate good food. Work is work, and I'm searching for a house. That's basically was my update.
Nice.
Whereas the 6-minute one was a big update about the car. Woohoo! Success. Update about the house. Then we had squad training. Then I had ooh ee ooh ah ting tang walla walla bing bang stuck in my head for 4 days. So I decided to share that with everybody.
What the hell?
Yeah. So
Nice.
when you talk for like a minute on each topic and the car was a couple of minutes, that's where the 6 minutes kind of add up. What am I going to put in this week's Wednesday waffle? I've absolutely no idea, right? This week's Wednesday waffle will likely be, we recorded a podcast. Yay! I'm placed myself under house arrest.
Quarantine?
Yeah.
Why?
So I don't get sick.
Oh yes. Oh yes. It's not long to go.
And
When-
then the week after, I'm sure it'll be like a 30 seconds of me just going, look at this. Fingers crossed, right? Assuming everything goes to plan.
Where?
Touch
Yeah,
wood.
that's a good point. When are you flying out?
Saturday. So today is Sunday the 24th, so I'm flying out Saturday.
Ooh,
6 days.
exciting! Exciting.
So are you, Laura? Is it
I know.
your flight's
Yeah.
the same time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you off to?
Laura is going.
I'm off to Latvia. I'm going to do some like wintry Christmas markets.
Nice. Nice.
I'm flying to the equator.
I was going to say, we're getting very different temperature climates,
Yes.
but that's fine.
I am
Because, yeah,
absolutely.
Dom is not really built for the cold.
Yeah, neither am
No.
I.
No.
I totally get that.
No.
Totally get that, Dom. Totally get it.
Last time I went to Newcastle, I got snowed. We nearly got snowed in.
And you did bring like a car full of stuff, including, was it a spare duvet as well in case you were getting
Yeah.
cold? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's just standard road, like kind of.
Yeah, but not
Safety
like a
things.
road blanket like you have in case of like breakdowns and stuff. This was a full-on like double
Oh
king
yeah.
duvet.
What's the only blanket I had? I was going to be fine if anything happened or I broke down. And it was fine. It was all fine until I pulled up to the side of the road and then I got stuck. And everybody around me got stuck as well. And it was just bedlam. And I was like, well, I'm here. Let's just do that. So cool. Okay. So this podcast is just giving me more to the task list is to just add this to
Yeah, because you haven't got enough to do.
No. I don't. This is the thing I don't get. Right, I must be doing something wrong because I'm single and I have no children, and yet I'm still busier than all of my friends who are either in relationships or married or have kids.
I feel like though it doesn't really matter on that. Like you'll make your days busy with whatever. And if you're married and have kids, it means, well, they're naturally going to make your lives busy. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, you'll have less choice as to how you're going to be busy.
yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be less options. Be like, oh, I'm going to be really busy. doing all of these things, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna. It's been an hour and 10. I'm gonna like change the order a little bit and remove from the abuse being fired at me as being the host, and I'm gonna swing this on to Jerry.
What?
So we're gonna dive into.
Is now a good blah, 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 blah. Is now a good time to pause for a coffee break, though?
Oh yeah, we can do. Well, we can. Yeah, we'll pause and we'll just cut this bit out.
Oh, I like it. I don't think we've ever formally done that. I think there's the odd occasion where I've been like, Dom, I'm really sorry, I need to take a comfort break. Like, can you cut this bit out? Like, yeah. But a coffee break, I like it.
I mean, it's 2 in 1. Like whatever liquids you need.
Well, yeah. Let's do it. Liquids in, liquids out. Let's do it. Right.
Yeah, go.
I will be back.
I'll just cut this. Bit out.
Okay.
Who has the fastest coffee machine? It clearly is you, Laura.
I didn't use I just used instant. It is only decaf, so it's not real coffee anyway. But
Actually, no, you exit stage left, don't you? Which means you have to.
Yeah, but that's right.
I mean,
for
you can
us,
always just
'cause
flip
it's
the
mirrored.
video around, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Get Dom to do some editing as but
Can you imagine if, like, we were waiting.
Is this my good or my
Yeah.
bad side?
Can you imagine if we were waiting for like 2 hours? It's like, Laura, where were you? And you go, oh, I just went to my favourite Cafe Nero in Newcastle. Oh, okay. We need some
yeah, I just
coffee
wanted to
break.
like a really good bake.
Yeah. I thought I'd just take a small drive out there. Thought you'd be okay with that.
I think most people would as long as you bring back treats for them. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you'd have to.
that's one thing you can't quite do over Zoom yet. So
Smell-o-vision type thing, and then
would that be worse if like someone like had like really like good homemade cakes and you could smell it knowing that you can never eat it?
Yeah, that would be cruel. I mean, we're not animals. That would just be cruel.
oh god.
Is it still recording? It is as well. I got.
Yeah, I've just
left
cut.
it.
Right, okay. I got these. I just have to say before we start again. So I got these bed sheets. I didn't sleep very well last night because I got these bed sheets which are really cool. They look amazing. I got them from Matalan, and they are seriously cool, like proper 80s style bed sheets. But my God, they were
Is it weird that
scratchy.
I'm just imagining like Star Wars or something all over?
Yeah, no, it's not quite like
I
that.
feel like that's 80s. And,
No,
you know.
no, it's more like like 80s art. Like how people would like decorate their flats like ultra modern style 80s. It's like that,
Mm.
but they're scratchy as hell. So I did not sleep very well last night. So I'm gonna have to.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people that when like you go shopping for either like towels or bedsheets or anything like that, I have to do like the finger test, just to like every single one, just to like go, is it good enough?
Well,
And honestly, my expressions are all over my face. I'm sure people have looked at me and I'm like going like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's the wrong fabric, you know.
this is definitely the wrong.
This
fabric.
might make it into the podcast, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll shorten the thing and just be like, oh, we'll have a coffee break. We are a conversational
That's
podcast,
true.
aren't we? That didn't look like a coffee, though, Jerry.
No, it's just a gin and tonic. So
I was going to say, I'm sure I could see a lemon
Cheers.
in it. I know you like having water with a lemon or a lime.
oh, a strong gin. Put too much gin. Makes your eye go funny.
I need
Right.
to survive. So I'm going to turn this podcast around a little bit to stop the abuse being hurled at me.
Okay.
And we're going to go on to poignant questions, which means this is all over to you, Jerry.
Ooh. Right. So, we have categories, Laura. Categories. We've
Right.
got. And we're going to do 2 questions from each category. See how we get on time-wise. We could even do 3. Possibly even 4. So, we've got... But you have to choose one from each category, right? So we've got animals,
Okay.
numbers, food, objects, and famous people. Okay?
So do you want just one of those? Do you want two of those?
Well, you're gonna go through. So you're gonna go through all of them. Which one would you like to start
Oh,
with?
okay.
Which category? So you got
Food.
Food. Oh, nice. Okay, here we go. Right, I'm gonna choose one at random.
I don't know what this is either, by the way.
Oh, this is a good one. I like this one. What's your go-to food when you're feeling unwell?
Oh, easy. Toast. Plain butter toast. Simple. Doesn't require any effort to cook. Just purely getting kind of the basics in.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Because also, I feel like you don't want something fancy when you're sick. You just,
Like oysters. Oh, I'm feeling so rough. Just all
Yeah,
I
no.
want. I think all I can stomach is a plate of oysters.
No.
Just 6 oysters. And some truffles. Right. Okay. And some caviar. It's all I can't stomach anything else.
Does it just
plain,
say
simple
unwell?
toast, nice and easy. That's all I need.
Okay. Buttered toast.
Does it
Well,
say...
yeah, not dry. Like,
Okay.
that would be, I mean, you'd have to be having a really rough day to be like, I'm sick, I'm feeling lousy, I'm out of butter, and I'm just eating dry toast. Like, it'd be grim.
I mean, have you got a different answer to that one, Jerry?
Oh, we're all going to answer them.
Yeah, that's not just one.
Because I thought it's just you and Laura. Because I was going to ask Laura, so
No,
Laura
no.
gets like first dibs, and then I was going to ask you. Well, you have to go
Yeah.
next, and then I'll tell you mine.
It depends on what I'm unwell with, right? So I 100% agree with the toast thing, but I do step it up a gear if I've got a cold, because garlic is quite good. Sometimes it's just a garlic bread.
See, if I've got a cold, that's just when you need to get like the honey and the lemon out and just drink loads of that.
It depends where it's like. I agree with that if it's on my throat,
Yeah.
but if it's in my face here, I need to. It's
But
a
then you drink the
decongestion.
tea and then you sit like this and be like, okay, it's okay.
Nice.
Normally I just sleep, but yeah. So I 100% agree with the toast, but I have been known to also do garlic bread, and then if you want something liquid, it's got to be any. I'm not actually that fussed, but a kind of soup. Soup is absolutely king. Your turn, Jerry.
So, yeah, if I'm feeling really rough, it'd be toast as well, or just some plain rice. Yeah,
No, I've done that before.
but yeah, to your point, Dom, like if it's just a cold and you sort of think it's not really affecting your appetite, then I go full ham. I'll have hot curries, lots of garlic, lots of ginger, chili, all that, because I find it helps. So those are all kind of good superfoods to eat. Chili, garlic,
Yeah.
ginger, they're good things to eat when you got a cold. So yeah. But if I'm feeling like really,
I mean, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't counting the cold. That probably says more than anything. But
Yeah, well, yeah,
well, fair enough.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I. Two blokes here.
Yeah,
Man flu is deadly.
it is.
I will hold my hands up. I'm a miserable bastard when I'm sick.
No,
100%.
it cheers me up because it just breaks the monotony of my dull life. Right. Anyway, we've done
Moving
food.
on.
We've done food. So you've got animals, numbers, objects, or famous people.
I'll go animals. I'm going to stick to the
Animals.
fluffies first.
Right, fluffies. Okay. Ooh, I like this one. When you were a kid, what animal did you have as a soft toy?
So I definitely was like in the TY generation. So I had like a various little mini selection. Nothing crazy and absolutely nothing of value, but like just different ones. Dom's going to go get something. But the other thing I did have is and I say, I would already count it as what I had as a kid. It's what I had as a baby. Was like a little toy, little duck.
Oh, soft toy duck.
Soft toy duck, yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So
Did it have a name?
it did, but I think it must have clearly been like as a kid, I either couldn't remember what I named it or just sort of kept adding things to it. So its full official name was Quacky Golden Yellow Sunshine.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, Quacky.
And I'll give kudos as well to my sister, because apparently she was the one who chose it when, like, introducing her to, like, the new baby. She got to choose the toy.
That's a lovely
So
story.
she's responsible for the toy. I am responsible for the crazy name.
Yeah. Well, are any of those names hyphenated?
Not got a bloke.
Okay. Just thought I'd check.
That specific.
That's really cute. Quacky. So repeat the name again. Quacky.
Quacky Golden Yellow Sunshine.
Quacky Golden Yellow Sunshine. Love it. So that's going to be the section of this podcast. It's just going to be called Quacky Golden,
Quacky
Yellow,
Golden Yellow
Sunshine. Right.
Oh God, why do I?
Dom?
But I'm the one that has to edit that.
Well,
Do you realise
I
I'm
mean,
off
if you want to
screen?
have a fun little game, see how quickly you can say it.
No.
or see how long it takes before you can't remember it. And I'm already it's already
And
starting
then you
to
start
fade.
adding more names to it again, and
It's
you're like, oh,
already,
God.
it's already fading.
This is like Jerry naming me.
Yeah, your one is easy. Right, Dom.
So I don't think I had. I don't remember because I don't remember much of pre. The odd bits. Interestingly, I have like odd snippets, and I remember the gift I got that my parents got me when my sister was born to kind of keep me appeased, I suppose is the term. Which was a toy yellow. Well, they're all yellow. That kind of yellow of an AA van.
Oh,
It was like a.
yeah.
It was probably
Like a
sort of like
matchbox.
a little bit bigger than that, sort of like maybe 1/16 rather than kind of like 1/12 rather than like 1/16 sort of scale.
Okay.
So a little bit bigger, sort of like this sort of size, not quite matchbox size, but a little bit bigger than that. So I don't remember that. There are bits that I do remember in terms of what we still got about. So I know that there is a dolphin that is hanging around, and the reason I know it's a dolphin is because it has a Miami Dolphins football NFL jersey on, because my dad is a Miami Dolphins fan. So that was one of them. But I don't specifically remember what I did. Just disappear and got. I just got what's currently on my bed at the moment,
Oh yes.
which is this.
I mean, it's definitely not your
thing.
childhood toy. This is an adult toy.
No,
no.
this is
Let me
this is
rephrase that.
what-
This is what you bought. Oh, God.
Jesus Christ, Laura. It is a toy that I have bought more recently than when I was a child.
I was saying, how can you phrase that better? Okay.
It is. Anyway, it is the only. I suppose it's the only non-functional that I have in my flat. Right, it's the only decorative thing.
I think I've broken Jerry. Oh.
Are you okay?
I don't think I am. That's funny. That's funny on so many levels.
So yes,
Okay.
this
What is?
is the only thing. Do you not know what it is?
It's an adult toy.
And welcome to stereotypical Laura, where she says something and doesn't realise that she's going to say it that way, and that's it. She just breaks the room.
That's absolutely brilliant. Well, okay, go on, Dom. What is it?
Do you not know what it is?
It's from Mario, but I've forgotten
Yes,
what it's
it is.
called.
Is it shell?
It is. It's
Yeah.
the spine. It's the blue spiny shell that targets first place.
That's it. That's it.
So does that mean you're in first place because someone's thrown the toy at you?
Yes, obviously, I am in first place. Clearly, no. Actually, it's probably quite a good metaphor for my life. Quite often is I'm in first place. Smash.
And this adult toy
I'm in
comes along.
12th. Yeah. It's Jerry's gone again.
I'm sorry. Okay. Maintain composure. Must maintain composure.
Put it together, man.
I'm trying. Right. Oh, I need to ask myself, don't I?
Yes.
When you were a kid, what animal did you have as a soft toy? So it was a beagle because it was Snoopy. So I had a. Oh, well, actually,
nice.
okay. The very, very first one was a rabbit that wore sort of checked dungarees. He was actually my first soft toy. Yeah, but the one the one that I treasured the most was Snoopy. Definitely, love Snoopy. I remember getting that from. So I was 5 years old, and I got that from the card shop at Ealing Broadway Station. I begged my mum to get me
How
that.
do you remember this stuff?
I remember. Well, no, I don't remember anything, Dom, but I remember that. It's really weird. I remember that. That's literally the only thing I remember from my childhood.
Do you have memories like that, Laura?
Yeah, so I can remember like say like us talking about the TYs. Like my first TY was a bunny called Ears, and I can picture in my head the shop which we got it from, which was kind of like one of those. I don't know, maybe it's very 2000s like corner shop, but had like a small little toy section. I can picture it.
Nice. And how old are you?
God knows, 3-7.
Okay.
I'd guess
won't-
I'd guess like around 5, but no idea.
I've got nothing. Like, absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all.
And that's why me
No.
and Jerry are good at cramming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So we've done animals.
okay.
We've done animals. We've done food. We've got numbers. We've got objects, and we've got famous people.
Let's just go down the list. Just numbers next,
Yeah,
and
numbers.
then go down the list.
Fine.
Yep.
How did you know numbers was next on this? Because
42.
numbers is actually next.
I mean, I went with the order you said them.
Oh, don't!
I
gave it away. I gave it away. Right, I'll get my coat. Here we go. Oh, I like this one. On a scale of 0 to 10.
You said that for all three, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. On a scale of 0 to 10, how spicy do you like your curry? So 0 is korma, 10 is glued to the bog.
I feel this depends very much on like what mood you're in for the curry. Like, because also I prefer more tallies and stuff like that, so I can have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's
So like, I like my sort of the sagaloo. I like my chili paneer. I like having pad puree as the starters and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel I definitely do like spice probably more than you, Dom.
Most people do.
But I'm not like I'm not like a mega spicy hot. Like for me, it's more about kind of the aromatics and the flavor. So maybe like a 6 or a 7, like above average, but not crazy.
ooh, 6 or 7.
And then
Okay.
I should probably caveat I'm saying this as a white girl, but hey.
Fair enough. Okay.
Well, everyone's got different levels of spice, okay? Like me going, I like sort of slightly above average, but then like that, I've never been to India, so they can just look at me and be like, no, like, and that's a fair comment again.
Yeah, your 6 or 7 is like a 2 or 3.
It could
Whatever
well
it
be
could
like, you know,
Yeah.
but,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh dear.
Nice. Okay. I don't know how you follow that one, Dom, but
I genuinely didn't think I'd hear the phrase, I caveat that as a white girl
there you
today.
go.
That was not on my bucket list, but that's brilliant. I'm just going to check that the house hasn't blown down. I've learnt I like spice a little bit more than I used to. I don't like it that you can't if you can't eat it. Like if you're like it's just like, and you're in pain and uncomfortable. And I also wouldn't go out my way just to eat a chili in like a chili eating competition. But I do like sometimes I like a little bit of a kick. So I would probably say I'm more like a 3-4 at most. And I have had curries cooked for me by Indians and Asians before, both kind of, both of their versions. And I have to admit, like, I have had it where they've gone, it's not spicy, and you eat it and you think, yeah, that's got a real kick to it. It's nice, but that's like, my eyes are watering. And then they've gone, oh, this one's really hot, and you like, I'll try it, and you're like, flipping Nori, might as well just eat lava, right? Because I'm sure that's more comfortable than eating this curry. You don't quite see the point, but it must be something you get used to, right? So yes, I'm probably more like a 3.
A 3. Okay. Oh, by the way, can I just say, so thank you, Dom. Laura, Tarlies are great, aren't they? You just get a
like,
little bit of everything.
I don't want to choose one curry. I want a bit of everything.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm with you. Not many restaurants do them either, I've noticed. Well, not the...
Is it? I feel like I figure out my favourite spots and I'm like, I'm going there.
Yeah, nice. So Tarlies are great. They're great. So my answer to this is 8 or 9, depending on the mood. And I'll give you an example. So I recently took my daughter to York for her 21st, and we went to a Korean restaurant, and I ordered a dish which was like a 2 or 3 chili rating anyway. So it was already hot. It was a beef bibimbap, and the waitress said, because I said, oh, I really like spicy food, by the way. So she said, okay, well, I'll make sure that the chef puts extra spicy sauce and chili and stuff in it. And then I said, I was looking down the section of the menu where you've got your sides, and they had like different chili dips and chili sauces and oils and stuff. And I pointed to the hottest one. I went, how hot is that? She said, oh, well, it's pretty hot. And I said, yeah, but I really like hot food. At which point my daughter said, yeah, he's a bit of a chili fiend. And she said, well, it's not really hot then. You won't find it hot. So she said, I'll go and get some of the sauce that my chef makes. And he makes it specifically for us, but it's like a chili and garlic. And yeah, that made me sweat, but it was lovely. I loved it. Sweat. So I ended up getting a second pot of it, but I love it. So I like to sort of like slip in and out of consciousness as I'm eating because of due to the chili heat. Yeah, I love it. So I'm kind of addicted to it.
See, I feel like my level is more, I like it when like it gives you that tingliness in the mouth and just like mild numbing. Not sweating. That's too far for me.
Sweating, you need to have sweating. I've had situations like I had a Scotch bonnet once, and it made my left ear. My left ear basically is like somebody had like hit it. It was ringing. It was that bad.
It wasn't an allergic reaction, was it?
No, because I also had slight tears as well. It was that hot. Like, it made my eyes water. It was that hot. Carried on eating it. I ate it. I ate the whole thing anyway. Because, I mean, why wouldn't you? But yeah. When in Rome. But yeah, the gentleman that cooked this dish put these Scotch bonnets in. He's Egyptian, and he made some great food, and he put this chili in. I was like, what the hell? That is ridiculously hot. But yeah, still ate it because I don't know. I am addicted to hot food. Don't know if that's a bad thing or what, but there you go. So yeah, so I'm going on a. If I don't want to push myself, I'll go 8. But normally my default is 9. The hotter the better. I don't think 10. I've done 10s before. I've had a jalfrezi once where literally they'd taken the chili and basically, I don't know how many chilies they took, and these chilies must have been particularly hot, but they blended them and put it into the sauce. And I literally went to take a piece of chicken out, or I think it was lamb actually. I went to take a bit of lamb out of the sauce, and then the fork had no there were no prongs on the fork left because the chili had just it was literally that hot. I called the waiter over and I said, "Listen, I eat hot food and I can't eat this. I mean, I can, but this is pretty rough." So yeah, so I don't like to go that. That's a 10, and I don't see the point. Some people do that.
I didn't think jalfrezi is that hot normally, or is this just like a special one?
Not normally. Sorry, I'm saying jalfrezi. Sorry, madras. It was a madras. Which is hot, but it's not supposed to be almost inedible.
It's not supposed to be melt the
fork hot. Yeah.
Lava hot.
Yeah, it was literally lava hot. You dunked the fork and pulled it out and no prongs left. So, yeah, that's me. Anyway, We got
My two random thoughts from that, right, is my first random thought is, oh God, you know, if this podcast like blew up and we became famous enough to be invited onto something like Hot Ones.
Oh yes,
Have you?
I love that show.
You must. You know what? Do you know what Hot Ones is?
Yeah,
as well?
I know what it is. Yeah.
And I'd be like, no. I don't think I'd even survive the first bottle, but you would make it to number
I was
10.
going to say, the thing is, you'd need to go on there as a duo act, but you'd be, as you say, you get through maybe one or two, and then you'd just be in the corner going, no more, please, no more.
No more, no.
And you'd be like that again. I'm like, yes, let's go.
But
I'd
I mean,
love
like,
that.
I've seen it with like done like you know, people copy it and things like that. And by the way, absolutely not unless I'm unless I'm hosting, right? And we need to. I don't know if Chat Stevie T is a is a chili lover as well, but absolutely
He
not.
likes his hot food.
Maybe that's an alternative to us getting drunk on a podcast.
Yeah, I'd really that could get messy. I'm not so sure. I know he keeps pushing for this, but I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, the alcoholic the podcast would not be good,
No.
especially as well. Well, Laura has seen me drunk, so let's not go there. And then the other one is just when you mentioned lava. There was that guy that stuck his hand in lava and it burnt off, and then selfishly wouldn't tell anybody what it was like. And everyone was like, "What does it feel like touching lava?" But he wanted to feel what it like, so he just stuck his hand in. I'd imagine probably quite painful, to be honest. But hey-ho.
Do not do it.
I
Do not.
Also,
do it.
very glad. Speaking of lava, I'm very glad I did Iceland a few weeks ago, because did you see the eruption, which has just taken out the Blue Lagoon car park?
no, really.
Yeah.
Flipping heck.
Yeah.
Sorry, why would
Yes.
you? Okay. There's just so much to unpack.
People, Jerry.
There. It's just so much
People.
to unpack. Right. So we're going to move on to objects. So.
I'm a real boy.
Okay, this could be a bit dodge. What?
You can always
I
edit
mean,
it out.
after some of the comments that we've said
well,
already.
this is kind of continuing that. The question is, what's the weirdest thing in your bedroom right now?
Apparently my spiny shell.
No, well, clearly, your adult toy.
I don't think I've got anything that weird in my bedroom.
Yeah, I don't think I've got anything weird in mine
I mean,
either.
I've got a clock. That's not the right time because I haven't bothered to like adjust it back to daylight savings.
Okay.
But I kind of just don't use that clock anyway, so I've just sort of turned it and fixed it away.
Okay. All right, look, I'm going to choose another one because that's a bit. Who's going to keep anything
I don't
weird?
know.
I mean, Dom, unless you've got something.
I mean, I have a very small flat, so I mean, I've got a tent in my bedroom, but that's because it's the only place
Yeah,
to
but that's
store it.
exactly. So. Yeah.
That makes
yeah.
sense. It's not like it. Like if you go into, I mean, they've got the bed, wardrobe, bedside cabinet. Nothing weird. Nothing weird. And then at the foot of my bed, there's a space, and then against the wall is a tent, spare suitcase, shoe rack with shoes in it, and a cupboard with books in it.
Yeah,
But
that's,
I don't have anywhere else to put them.
no, that's okay. I'm going to choose another one then. Well, I like this one.
Objects.
What object always seems to disappear when you need it the most?
Ooh.
Laura's undiagnosed or AUDHD. Surely that every object just disappears.
You're in trouble now, Dom.
I am.
I'm really trying to think. I'm gonna just say something like really boring, like my moisturizers and like lip balm,
Oh, lip balm's a good one. Yeah.
because you know
Just
you're always there, like skin's feeling dry, and it's like, where did I put it last?
yeah, okay.
So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I like that.
Clips. There'll be hair clips surely as well.
Huh?
Hair clips and bobbles.
Like I've got. It's one of those things.
For our
like, I
audio
have to
listeners,
have
she has it
on my wrist at all times because
Yeah.
I've got long hair, and particularly as well if you're out at food in a nice restaurant, like I have to tie it up to eat because otherwise it's like too much like a
too much
accident
risk.
waiting to happen. Yeah. So,
Just for our audio listeners, that ping was the hair bubble on Laura's wrist. It was. I don't know what it's going to come through like in the audio.
Right, Dom.
What disappears?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the worst. Stuff disappears all the time. Drives me nuts. There's somebody comes in and sneaks stuff out of my flat. I swear to God. So I'm just going to say, instead of like nothing happens, I'm just going to say anything and everything could happen. Honestly.
Yeah, okay.
I could lose anything.
Okay.
And normally it appears again after I've bought a replacement, which drives me nuts.
Oh, that is really frustrating. That is really frustrating. I mean, it's the way of the
And
world,
also-
but that's really frustrating.
Oh, I've actually got a better one, and Dom, you might agree with me on this one. Actually, no, Jerry, you as well. My glasses. It's so frustrating trying to find your glasses but you can't actually see.
Yes, I agree with that because I only use my glasses for reading and using the laptop. And so, yeah, you're right. The amount of times. In fact, when I think back to, like, let's say the last 6 months, what have I spent most time looking for? It's been my glasses. Yeah, I'm going with that. That's my answer. Yeah.
So, so no for me on the glasses, but that's because I'm so blind that I can't just put them down, because if I did that, I legitimately would not be able to find them, and I live on my own. So when I take my glasses off, I only take my glasses off really when I'm going for a shower and then they go in the sink, or when I'm going to bed and they go in the bedside cabinet. That's the only time that I take them off. So
You've got worse
No.
places where you can find them.
yeah, they'll be in one or two places, right? They can't really. They're not really going to be anywhere else. I did just think of something. I mean, like, a good example for me. So, you know, when you've got clothes that you've worn once, but they're good enough to wear again. So normally it's trousers, right? Jeans. I'm not going to put a pair of jeans through after one wash. Legitimately spent 10 minutes looking for that pair of jeans. Like, where the heck are they? Just genuinely, like, where I put them. And ironically, I put them in the same place I put them all the time. I just didn't look there, right? It's that kind of brain. It's not that they disappear. It's just that I don't remember where I've put them.
Yeah, I've never had that
There you
problem. Not with jeans.
Just all the
But,
time.
yeah.
All the time.
But glasses
All the
definitely because I don't have to wear these all the time. So I'm assuming you don't wear glasses all the time, Laura? Do you? Or do you?
I do.
Oh, you do.
But I'm also the sort of person that, like, I'll fall asleep on the sofa, so I'll take them off and just sort of chuck them on the table.
Oh, okay. Right.
And then, yeah.
Full Velma from Scooby-Doo. My glasses.
Okay. Yeah, I'm losing my glasses all the time. It's so frustrating. So I'm definitely with you on that one. Right. So we've got. Oh, go on. Were you going to say? You're going to add something, Laura? No. Oh, I thought you were about to speak. Okay, I'm losing it. Right. We got famous people. That's the last category.
You never had it.
No, that's true. In fact, you know what? Because I don't think we'll have time. I don't think we've got time to go through to each, have we? So, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. This is a good one. If you could have a sleepover at a famous person's house, who would you choose and why?
Do they have to be there?
I was going to say,
Yes, they do, Dom. Otherwise, that's a bit creepy. So, what are you doing in my house? Oh, I thought I'd have a sleepover.
Because I kind of find it creepy in general because they're a stranger.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, well...
Stranger danger.
Okay, well, which famous person would you totally freak out over if you saw them across the street? Let's go for that one. Because otherwise, this sleepover one's opening up a whole can of worms.
I was going to say, yeah, no, we don't let that
No,
again.
no.
I might go for kind of a classic, but
I wouldn't freak out over them, but, like, I'd make the effort to go and actually say hello. And that's got to be David Attenborough.
Oh,
Have an actual conversation.
That's a
and just,
great
that
one.
is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't even need any more explanation.
No.
You can just leave that there. That's
That's
fabulous.
strong. That's strong. That is strong. Oops.
go then, you guys.
again, I don't think I'm the type of person to freak out.
Yeah.
Oh. And also, I'm a massive introvert, so I wouldn't want to interrupt somebody. So I wouldn't be someone that would go up and say hello. I suppose on a similar vein, I'd like to meet Ian McKellen.
Sir Ian McKellen too.
Yeah, Sir Ian McKellen. But also, I'm big into my F1 at the moment, so pretty much any of the F1 drivers. But particularly would quite like to meet Lewis Hamilton. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'm really struggling now with this.
Come on.
You make
Come
these
on.
questions.
Oh, I didn't realise I had to answer them as well. I don't know. I wouldn't freak out because that would just be strange. Like if there's one way to like creep a person out, is to just freak out over them. So
Because they could just be there, like, trying to grab a coffee, like, oh, God, not another one.
yeah, but
Yeah, exactly.
no, here we go again. Like this is why I don't leave the house. So, I mean, how do you top Sir David Attenborough?
No, you've properly done us in there.
I mean, that's just crushed it. I don't know. I tell you who I would love to meet actually is Barack Obama.
That is cool.
Yeah,
that is
I
pretty
genuinely
cool as
like.
well. Yeah.
You know, I'd love to just sit down, not just if I saw them across the street. Like, I'll take it one step further and just say, I would love to just sit down and have a coffee with him, just to chat to him. Because, I mean, where do I start? I
I don't think it really can. Similar to David
I
Attenborough,
don't
I
think
think.
you don't even need to expand really, do you? He's incredible. So I would love to. If I saw him across the street, I would actually run across the street and say, "Look, could I just talk to you just for 5 minutes, or just 1 minute, just anything? It'd be so good to just have a conversation with him." So, yeah, there you go. That's my choice.
I'm still just absolutely blown away by the David
Attenborough. I
It's
mean,
just so good.
You know, Laura didn't even she didn't know this question was coming up. She couldn't have prepped. You know, there was no inkling. Just straight off the bat, David Attenborough.
Couldn't have prepped, wouldn't have
Wouldn't
prepped.
have prepped anyway, yeah. Or if she did, it would have been in the last 30 seconds before the podcast started. But still, what a strong answer. Okay, there you go. We can do another round if you want, or we can move on to...
No. Well, I'm going to do... I'm conscious of time and the fact that my flat is also going to get noisy. I would like to do Blindly Rates, because I think that's my favourite thing.
I love Blindly Rate. I hate it so much as well at the same time.
Yes, and I'm hoping that for once in my life, Laura, I'll be able to stump you rather than and be the clever one rather than the one that isn't. So I actually have two. I'm actually going to do two today. I'm going to do the one that I had planned otherwise as well. But some of those were not planned with you in mind, Laura, so you'll have to bear with some of the choices. They're both food related.
I'm good with that.
So the first one, there are five.
Okay.
So you've got a choice of like between 1 to 5.
I'm going to
and
do
they'll-
this to keep track of what numbers I take.
I will also keep. I also keep track, so don't panic. I have a notepad ready. So these are bread.
Okay.
Types of bread?
Types of types of bread. Yeah, ish kind of thing. Based upon my research, you can kind of question me
Okay.
a little bit. So we'll start off with French baguette.
1 is best, 5 is worst, yeah?
Yeah, 1 is good, 5 is worst.
I feel like French baguette is quite strong because it's quite a good, crispy, crunchy. I'm going to put that as a 2.
2. Oh, I've just pressed a button and it didn't do it. Jerry?
So, a good baguette, French baguette, that you can get in France is number 1 for me. Nothing beats that.
Right.
Nothing beats it. I don't even care what comes up. I do not care what comes up next. you know, what the other four choices are. It will not shake me on that. I love it so much. I have eaten a whole
Number one.
baguette on its own. No, seriously, no butter, nothing. Literally just, I remember going to Weestrom once, got off the ferry, stopped off at this boulangerie and got a baguette and literally just tore my way through it.
So you've done what you've never done before, which is you've just gone like, yes, I like that. Sod it, I'm going. For
Absolutely.
that. Normally you kind of go, oh, I'm going to put it at 2 just in case, but this time you're like, no, I'm on it.
That's it.
I'm beginning to doubt my tactics now. So okay.
The second one, a sourdough.
See, that's probably my number one.
Are you going to put it as number 1?
Yeah, I'm going to put it as my number 1. I do like a good sourdough.
Sourdough is so good. So it's either going to be number 2 or number 3, but I'm trying to think of what else could possibly come up. Fuck's sakes. Tom.
Hey, we haven't even got to the hard one yet.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm going. Okay, you've just helped me decide.
As in the hard set of blind beat rates.
okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go number 3.
3.
I might regret that.
Focaccia.
Do you like focaccia as well?
I mean, your highest is 3 at the moment, Laura. So
I mean, I'm still glad with that because, you know, baguettes and sourdoughs are good. So,
I mean, to be fair, I do just like bread, so.
I mean, like on a scale like this, like just because the scale is like 1 to 5, but actually a 5 is like here still.
Yeah.
So what? You're going 3?
I'm trying to predict what he's going to put as the other
I know.
one
That's
to
what
try
I'm
and,
trying to do.
rank.
I know. That's what I'm trying to do.
This is why
It's
I
definitely
love blind
a
beat
3
rates.
or a 4, but I'm just trying to think what if there's going to be anything that's going to be like above the 3. I'll put it as a 4 just in case.
Or as a 4.
I'm going 4
You've got-
as well.
You're going 4, so you've got 2 and 5 left.
I've got 3 and 5.
And you've got 3 and 5. So number 4 is banana bread.
Oh,
I'm going to put that 5.
yeah, 5.
It's good,
Okay.
but like it's a dessert rather than bread.
That's why I said. That was why when you said it was types of bread, it's bread based.
Oh, no, this
Yeah.
is going to be a shocker.
So 1, 2. So your number 3 is for number 3 for Laura and number 2 for you.
No,
Jerry.
number 5. Banana
Uh,
bread. Oh, no, you mean what's left?
As
Oh,
in-
so
as in
it's
the
what's
last
left,
one.
yeah.
The last one is tortilla.
Yeah, okay, I should have put.
So yeah, that was where it came in a little bit.
So if I had to reorder, I would have reordered that. So baguette would still be number 1, sourdough would be number 2, focaccia number 3, banana bread number 4 actually, then tortilla number 5.
So you would have literally gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
And yourself, Laura?
I'd definitely
you
switch
check-
the focaccia to 3. I don't know about tortilla versus banana bread in 4 or 5, but purely because I feel like I'm not counting banana bread as in the bread category, and
True.
that's a different thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The tortilla is a difficult one because it depends what you put with it. For me, right. Whereas a baguette, a sourdough, focaccia, you could
I
literally
think I'll
just
put the
have that.
tortilla 4 and then banana bread 5 because at least it keeps it in the savoury.
Yeah, safe.
Fair enough.
And if in doubt, you can just chop it up into triangles and fry them.
It's true. This is very true. Okay, the second blinding rates. There are 10.
Oh, there's 10 now.
Um,
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Both happens fine.
I have to use both feet now.
There are 4 with meat, Laura.
Okay,
So, and
I know
one
where
that
I'm putting
could
them.
have-
That's fine.
And one that could have meat. Now, Laura, obviously
I'm
for
just
the
going to assume
listeners
it's the
and
one
viewers-
version I like. That's fine.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we shall start with lemon cheesecake.
Is this just food in general? Dessert?
This is food in general.
Okay, so I've got no context. I'm gonna go with a solid 4.
I'm gonna play it safe. I'm going for 5.
5. Okay, slap down the middle. Spicy chicken wings, or the vegetarian equivalent, which would probably be potato fries.
You can always use Satan or cauliflower, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
I feel like, yeah.
Specifically spicy chicken wings.
It's so hard to put this on a same scale as like lemon cheesecake.
You wait to the rest of
Because
them.
it's like, well, what am I like? You know, is it like movie snacks? Because then like stuff like spicy wings can be great, but yeah,
Pardon the pun, but we're not comparing.
I'll put
apples
it
with
down
apples
as a
here, are we?
6.
6. Wow.
6.
I don't really.
Sorry, Joe.
I
is
don't know
my
what else.
favourite
I don't know
game.
what else is going to come up. This is way open here.
Very open.
I do love, just for the record, I love spicy chicken wings. I love them, but then I like a lot of food. So I'm going to go. I could regret this.
There are some gumph in here. I will give you that.
Oh, if that's the case, I'm going 2.
So I've gone with a croissant with butter.
Croissant with butter.
Yes,
But
specifically
you don't
butter. So
need
not.
butter
need
with
butter.
the croissants 'cause they're all butter.
Oh my god! So you...
All right, butter croissant. What I meant was it's not a pain au chocolat.
Oh, okay, just your standard croissant.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna stick that one as a 3. I am a bakery girl through.
3.
Yeah.
Oops. Jerry. These cause Jerry to have a small crisis.
This is really not easy. I'm gonna, again, could regret this because I do love croissants. Again, I don't know what else is coming up, so I'm gonna have to go 6.
Yep, you got 6. Cheese salad.
What salad?
Cheese salad.
I do quite like a cheese salad. I'll go with 5.
You do have 5 available.
7.
7. Sirloin steak.
10.
Yeah, I thought that'd be
I
quite
mean, you
easy
knew
for
that was coming.
There isn't really an alternative.
I think the best simple and fair comment is you do not waste steak on someone like me.
Oh, see. I'm gonna go for it. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm going for number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah.
I've written beef burritos, but I suppose burritos are probably the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I can't remember all the stuff I've had now. What was my 3, 4, 5, and 6?
You've had your 3 was croissant, your 4 was lemon cheesecake, your 5 was cheese salad, your 6 was spicy chicken wings.
Burritos aren't good. Definitely done something wrong order, so it's going to have to go as a 7.
7.
It's just, I feel like the croissant wins, so I can't quite put it up above it.
Yeah, that's true.
You're gonna have to put something above it.
I know. I've definitely got this wrong.
It's not quite like Jerry's egg.
Oh, I'll never forgive you for that. That's so bad. Got backed into the eggy corner. I'm going to go
With the
9.
Coronation Chicken corner.
Yeah, that was bad.
9.
Yeah, I'm
Interesting.
going 9.
Thought it'd be higher. Potato salad.
Whilst Laura's thinking about that, what have I got left? 2. No.
No, you've got
3.
3, 4, 8, and 10.
3, 4, 8, and 10. Okay.
I'm gonna go 8.
8.
I'm not liking the numbers I have left.
To be fair, you might be okay.
So, again,
Have I put something really rubbish at the end, or have I put something really good at the end? Here we go.
Both?
For all the mind games.
But also, is it your good or my good? Because that's the real
Exactly.
question.
I do. So a potato salad done well is lovely, and the Persian potato salad is incredible. But you only really have it as a side thing.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have to go 8 because 10 would be 10. I'm gonna have to save for something else.
Charcuterie board.
Oh,
9.
But again, I'm not liking where this is going, so I just need to not be blinded.
I'm going 4.
You have got 4. So, Laura, you have
1 and 2.
and 2 left. Interesting. Jerry, you have
3 and 10.
3 and 10. So, the next one is, just bear with me, pastel de nata.
Oh, I do like those.
A custard.
Yes, Portuguese custard tart.
custard tart.
Basically, do I think the next thing will be better than it? That's the question.
I'm going to put it as a 1 just in case it's not.
Fair enough.
At least that way my 1 is good.
Again, I do really like the Portuguese custard tarts, but it's not a 3 for me, so I'm going to go 10.
Oh. So Laura, you're 2, and Jerry, you're 3. Peking duck.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy with that.
So-
I'm happy with that.
Laura got a little bit screwed over on that one in the end, but Jerry, you I think yours would probably be okay.
No, absolutely.
Based on your numbers.
Peking duck.
I mean, you got steak, chicken wings,
Peking
duck. 1, 2, 3, charcuterie board,
Oh yeah, that's
and then
my
a
number
lemon
4.
cheesecake. So it's like meat pudding.
Yeah, basically. That's how I roll. Oh, I'm pleased with that. I'm happy with that. Definitely. Peking duck. Love Peking duck.
And then you alternate, and Laura, you're excluding the Peking duck, which you did get a little bit screwed over with. Your top 3,
Cake.
a top 4, 3 of them are either bakery or puddings. So you've got pasta de nata, croissant, and then lemon cheesecake. 5, yeah, and then your 5, 6, and 7 are kind of, you start getting into the meat versions. So
What the hell made
yes.
you choose Portuguese custard tart of all things? And there's some random, like proper random.
It's not.
stuff in
It's
there.
not just your 2 brains that have these like random ideas.
and specifically like beef burrito. Okay. Well, but then we changed
I
it
just
to
want-
burritos generally. I know for Laura, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it would have been a beef burrito. It's like, okay, that's very very specific. Dumb.
Yeah, I would. That's what I wanted to get you with on this one. When we did this one, is I wanted them to be really specific. So you really had to think. Well, I like burritos in general, but do I like beef burritos, or do I like pork burritos, or do I like, because I like a pulled pork burrito is significantly better in my opinion than a beef burrito.
Never had a pulled pork burrito before.
Oh,
Okay.
have you not been to the Paddington office?
Yes, but I've
Have you not gone to the Mexican place that's in Paddington
no.
Station?
Where the hell is that? Because I've gone to don't say Paddington Station. I've been to the Lebanese restaurant in Paddington. That was amazing.
That's
Yeah, that was amazing.
okay.
Is it actually
We'll have
in?
to-
It's in the main bit where Marks and Spencer and stuff is.
Yeah. So you go if you come,
Go
you know
down the
that bit that's
escalator.
kind of sectioned off. It's sectioned off as like a you go into Paddington Station and then there's like that glass double
Yes,
door
yes,
that you
yes,
go
yes.
in and then
I know what you mean.
and then immediately if you go through that and immediately to your right there's an escalator. If you go up there, there
I
is a
know
Mexican
exactly what you mean.
burrito place.
Yes, I know what you mean. All right, I'll have to try that. Definitely.
Yes,
Okay.
it's very good. And also, if you go up another set of escalators, you get to the standard Weatherspoons.
Spoons. Yeah.
Can't beat a spoons. Cool. I mean, we've been recording for quite a while now. I think we've got loads of other stuff, but we can save those for another day. Just encourage you to come back on again, Laura, because we love having you on the podcast.
Absolutely.
So what I shall do is I shall hand it over to Jerry for Celebrity Call Out Corner, because you wanted a specific one, and I'm very intrigued why you've got this person written down.
Yes. So, I wanted to go for something, someone a bit different to your standard. Like are they a movie star or they're a famous musician? I think Sophie Green does some of the most amazing art. So she's basically an incredible artist and also conservationist, and she has done some of the most beautiful paintings, wildlife paintings, and her art is basically like sort of like hyper realistic, basically. Portraits of animals, and specifically, she'll focus on endangered animals, and just what an artist. So I just thought, you know what? She's involved in a lot of good causes. I love her art. I have no idea what she's like as a person, but there's a shout out to Sophie Green. If you fancy coming onto this podcast, we can ask you all these completely inane questions that we've just asked Laura. But then at the same time, you get an opportunity to talk a bit more about, what you do. How did you get into? Well, how did you become an artist? Why specifically conservation? And what awards have you won? Just talk us through everything. Talk us through your whole journey.
And,
That'd be
and
amazing.
how the heck did you learn to create art like that? I've just had a quick Google. Like, holy
yeah, exactly.
moly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things where you see it and you think that's a photograph, and it's not.
Yeah, she is unbelievable. Her artwork is unbelievable. So there you go.
It's my favourite time of the podcast. Jerry, what are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts for me are, if you're presented with the options on blindly rate, go for meat. Can't go wrong. No. Final thoughts. I like the Wednesday waffle. I think it's always nice to. So that sparked something in me that I was like, oh, okay. It's not just one of those things that you just like read about or hear and you just go, oh yeah, okay, I suppose it's an okay idea. It's one of those things I think that's a fantastic idea. Actually, I'm quite excited about it. So, the
video will be going to you. And you. Well, should it go just to you? Which chat room should I put it in?
I don't know. There's too many. I mean, that's the thing. There's so many chat rooms, but I just love the whole concept. I think it's a really good idea, because if you can't find the time during the week, 1 week becomes 2, can easily become 3. You haven't had the opportunity to speak to that person, or not really one for messaging, and like I'm really not one for messaging. So
There are 2 on this podcast.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So
So
not one for messaging.
I like the fact that it kind of forces you to just create that video and just give the update, and then people know how you're doing. So I love it. That's anything that encourages that kind of connection. I'm all for that. So yeah.
appropriate considering it's also November, so it's quite a men's health awareness month. So,
Oh yeah, that's true.
and as not to take anything away from the wonderful women or anything like that, but generally male loneliness is pretty rubbish. So, yeah, I think I think that's why they started it, and I think that's one of the things. You aren't going to get away with it, Laura. What's your final thoughts?
That I should stop talking more. Or at least, I don't know, try and get the brain to work a bit more before the mouth does. Yeah. That's cow. Thoughts?
Who has them? Well, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward now to sending. Oh my god, I'm going to have to send it to like 7 chat rooms. I have to write the chat rooms down. I need to send it to
7 chat rooms. What the hell? How do you keep up with it
Well,
all?
I've got the one that's literally called the Wednesday Waffle,
Right.
which Laura is part of. Then I've got the Taekwondo Waffle, which, to be honest, is just the Swains. Was Adam and Jenny. Then I've got the Crocs Gang. I didn't name that chat room. And then I send it individually to Samwise and Kasha. So so should it be you and Steve? You and the old school crew?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So yes to
Yes
both.
to both.
Or
Yes to
one or
both.
t'other?
Yeah, yes to both.
So make a group with old school
We've already
crew
got
and
that.
Steve.
And then Steve. Yeah.
Well, and chat Stevie T into that group?
Yeah, you might as well.
Or a different?
No.
different-
Add
yeah.
him in. Add him
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I can because I'm not an admin, but that's fine. Which means,
okay.
and I think you and Kerry are the admins, which means it's.
I'll add him in.
If I ask Kerry to do it, if I asked you to do it, it'd take 45
Yeah, no, I was going to
years.
say, ask Kerry. It'll be done within under 30 seconds.
Oh dear. Right. Again, Laura, thank you so much for coming on. We do appreciate it. I hope this is a bit of fun. It's just wonderful just to share this kind of just tomfoolery. Really liked the coffee break, although the listeners will not hear all of it because I will cut it out because it was silence for 10 minutes while everyone did that. But it was quite. We've never done that. Normally
That's a
we
good
just go
idea.
straight through it, but it was about coffee break. So yes, thank you to our listeners for watching, listening. We've got plans up until like March next year now. So watch this space. We may have an in-person podcast, and we have at least another takeover, and we have a new guest. So yeah, we've got some good episodes coming up, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Laura, lovely to see you. Thank you so much. And can't wait to have you back on the podcast again. So let's make sure we don't leave it another 3 years. Right?
My response rate isn't great, so I can't make any promises.
Let's at least aim to do something in 2025. How about that? Set that as an objective. Yeah, maybe. I like the non-committal.
Non-committal is the best way. Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Catch you next
everybody.
one.